Shalom and welcome, brothers in the faith. You are now tuned into Standing Watch over Yashar'el, a counter-strategy guide for men under surveillance. This is not just a teaching, it's spiritual intel for the women. Each week, we expose one of the 27 espionage tactics used by the enemy to infiltrate, deceive, and neutralize the set-apart men of Yahuwah. In this war, your discernment must be sharp, your steps ordered, and your alliances holy. We're not here to react. We're here to respond with wisdom, truth, and spirit-led strategy. So grab your sword, the word of Yahuwah, and let's move with purpose. Your vigilance is your weapon. Your obedience is your shield. Let's stand watch together.
SunTzu Strategy 17, The Art of Subtle Intelligence Interpretation. Original maxim: without subtle ingenuity of mind, one cannot make certain of the truth of their reports. The Art of War, Chapter 13, The Use of Spies. Interpretation through a modern lens, citizen spies context. This profound strategy reveals that intelligence work operates on two distinct levels: the collection of information and the interpretation of that information. Sun Tzu emphasizes that raw intelligence is meaningless, even dangerous, without the subtle ingenuity required to discern truth from deception, context from manipulation, and reality from carefully constructed illusion. The intelligence handler's craft. The one managing spies and intelligence networks must possess: intellectual cunning and analytical skepticism. The ability to question every report, no matter how credible the source. Recognition that even loyal agents can be deceived, compromised, or manipulated. Understanding that information is often a weapon designed to provoke specific reactions. Cross-examination and verification protocols. Comparing multiple intelligence sources to identify contradictions. Testing reports against known facts and established patterns. Recognizing when information is too convenient, too timely, or too perfectly aligned with expectations. Understanding the motivations behind why certain information is being shared. The ability to read between the lines. Detecting what is deliberately omitted from reports. Recognizing coded language, euphemisms, and indirect communication. Understanding cultural, social, and contextual factors that shape how information is presented. Identifying the emotional state, biases, and potential compromises of the intelligence source. Pattern recognition and contextual analysis. Placing individual reports within broader strategic contexts. Recognizing disinformation campaigns and coordinated deception efforts. Understanding how small details can reveal larger truths or expose elaborate lies. Modern intelligence applications. In contemporary surveillance and intelligence systems. Institutional intelligence analysis. Government agencies employ entire departments dedicated to intelligence interpretation, not just collection. Analysts are trained in psychological profiling, linguistic analysis, behavioral pattern recognition, and cultural intelligence. Advanced algorithms and AI systems are now used to detect patterns, anomalies, and deception indicators across massive data sets. Intelligence reports undergo multiple layers of review, with each analyst adding interpretation and context. Digital surveillance and social media intelligence. Modern surveillance officials analyze not just what people say, but how they say it, when they say it, and to whom. Social media posts are examined for emotional states, ideological shifts, relationship networks, and potential radicalization indicators. Metadata, location data, communication patterns, online behavior often reveals more than content itself. Algorithms flag suspicious patterns based on subtle deviations from established behavioral baselines. Infiltration in religious and community settings. In churches, synagogues, mosques, and Hebrew communities, reports from informants or concerned members are filtered through handlers who shape narratives. Spiritual infiltrators are trained to interpret religious language, doctrinal positions, and community dynamics. Information is selectively presented to leadership to influence decisions, justify interventions, or marginalize specific individuals. The same event can be framed as righteous concern or dangerous extremism, depending on the interpreter's agenda. The weaponization of interpretation. Even objective truth becomes subjective when filtered through biased interpretation. Facts are selectively emphasized or minimized to support predetermined conclusions. Context is added or removed to transform innocent actions into suspicious behavior. Emotional framing, fear, urgency, moral outrage is used to bypass rational analysis. Specific threats to men of Yashar'el. This tactic reveals critical vulnerabilities in Hebrew communities. Misrepresented intelligence leading to unjust actions. Righteous brothers are accused based on cleverly twisted interpretations of their words or actions. Leaders and authorities act on incomplete or deliberately distorted information. Private conversations are taken out of context and presented as evidence of wrongdoing. Theological positions are mischaracterized as extremism or divisiveness. The transformation of rumor into verified intelligence. Gossip becomes multiple independent reports through coordinated repetition. Speculation is presented as fact through confident assertion and authoritative framing. Selective quoting removes context and creates false impressions. Emotional framing, "I'm concerned about Brother X," legitimizes baseless accusations. Time pressure, "we need to act now before it's too late," prevents proper verification. The subtle corruption of community trust. Members become suspicious of each other, wondering who might be reporting to leadership. Authentic spiritual expression is self-censored for fear of misinterpretation. Unity is fractured as brothers are isolated based on manufactured concerns. The community's focus shifts from spiritual growth to internal surveillance and suspicion. Spiritual threat to Yashar'el, the ancient tactic of the serpent. This strategy describes the spirit of craftiness, the same subtle manipulation that has been the adversary's primary weapon since the Garden of Eden. It operates not through obvious lies, but through the clever reshaping of perception, the strategic omission of context, and the artful distortion of truth. The serpent's methodology. Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath Elohim said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. Analysis of the serpent's technique. He didn't directly contradict Yahuwah's command initially. He asked a question that subtly distorted what Yahuwah actually said. He created doubt through clever reframing. Did Elohim really say? He implied that Yahuwah was withholding something good from them. He mixed truth with deception to make the lie more palatable. 2 Corinthians 11:3. But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Messiah. Paul warns that the same tactic continues. The adversary doesn't need to create obvious falsehoods. He corrupts minds through subtle distortions of simple truth. Complexity and clever interpretation replace straightforward understanding. The goal is corruption of perception, not just belief in lies. 2 Corinthians 11:13-15. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Messiah. And no marvel. For Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. The adversary's agents appear as righteous leaders and concerned brothers, protectors of truth and defenders of the community, those with spiritual discernment and prophetic insight. authorities acting in the community's best interest. The spiritual mechanism of deception, the tactic of distortion without direct lying. Truth is presented with strategic omissions that change its meaning. Facts are arranged in sequences that imply false causation. Timing of information release creates misleading impressions. Tone, emphasis, and emotional framing alter how truth is received. Questions are posed that plant seeds of doubt without making accusations. The corruption of perception. What you see with your eyes is reinterpreted by clever words. Your own experiences are explained away as misunderstandings. Clear scriptural commands are made complex through sophisticated interpretation. Simple obedience is portrayed as naive or dangerous fundamentalism. The isolation strategy. Those who maintain simple truth are labeled as divisive or unlearned. Brothers who refuse to accept twisted interpretations are marginalized. The community is taught to distrust their own discernment in favor of authorized interpreters. Questioning the official narrative becomes evidence of a rebellious spirit. Biblical parallels, historical examples of subtle intelligence manipulation. The accusers of Susanna, Book of Susanna/Daniel 13. The scenario: Susanna, a righteous and beautiful woman married to a wealthy man named Joachim, was bathing in her private garden. Two corrupt elders who served as judges had been secretly lusting after her. When she rejected their advances, they conspired to destroy her through false accusation. The subtle intelligence manipulation. Partial truth. They accurately described the location, her garden and activity bathing. False context. They claimed she was meeting a young man for adultery. Authoritative presentation. As respected judges, their testimony carried institutional weight. Emotional framing. They presented themselves as righteous men exposing wickedness. Strategic timing. They made their accusation publicly, creating social pressure for immediate judgment. Witness coordination. Two independent witnesses, actually conspirators, corroborated the story. The intended outcome. Susanna would be executed for adultery, satisfying their revenge and eliminating the witness to their wickedness. Daniel's counterintelligence. He separated the witnesses and questioned them individually. He asked for specific details. Under what tree did you see them? One said under a mastic tree, the other said under an oak. The inconsistency exposed the conspiracy. The subtle lie was revealed through wisdom and proper investigation. Lesson for Yashar'el. Even when accusers hold positions of authority and present coordinated testimony, wisdom can expose subtle deception through careful examination of details and context. The Pharisees and the woman caught in adultery, John 8, 1-11. The scenario: the scribes and Pharisees brought a woman caught in the act of adultery to Yeshua, seeking to trap him between Roman law and Mosaic law. The subtle intelligence manipulation. True facts presented: the woman was indeed caught in adultery. Selective application. They quoted Moses' law accurately regarding the punishment. Strategic omission. They didn't bring the man, though the law required both parties. False motivation. They weren't concerned with righteousness but with trapping Yeshua. Public theater. They created a spectacle to pressure Yeshua into a hasty response. False dilemma. They framed it as if he must choose between mercy and law. The trap. If Yeshua said, "Stone her," he would contradict his message of mercy and potentially violate Roman law, which reserved capital punishment for Roman authorities. If he said, "Release her," he would appear to contradict Moses and could be accused of condoning sin. Yeshua's counter-strategy. He didn't immediately respond, writing on the ground, possibly the sins of the accusers. He reframed the situation. "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone." He exposed their hypocrisy without directly accusing them. He showed mercy to the woman while upholding the law's moral standard. Go and sin no more. Lesson for Yashar'el. True facts can be weaponized through selective presentation and false motivation. Wisdom discerns not just what is said, but why it is said and what is deliberately omitted. False witnesses at Yeshua's trial, Matthew 26, 59-61, Mark 14, 55-59. The scenario: the chief priests and the entire Sanhedrin sought false testimony against Yeshua to justify his execution. The subtle intelligence manipulation. Distorted quotation. They twisted Yeshua's words about the temple. Original statement: destroy this temple and in 3 days I will raise it up. John 2:19, referring to his body. False interpretation. This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of Elohim and to build it in 3 days. Matthew 26:61. Subtle changes. Changed you destroy to I am able to destroy, making it sound like a threat. Context removal. Eliminated the spiritual meaning and metaphorical context. Multiple witnesses. Coordinated testimony to appear credible. Even with coordination, truth emerged. Mark 14:59, but neither so did their witness agree together. The subtle inconsistencies in their coordinated lies eventually became apparent. Lesson for Yashar'el. Even carefully crafted false testimony contains inconsistencies. Those who maintain truth and integrity will ultimately be vindicated, though they may suffer unjustly in the short term. The serpent's subtle questioning of Eve, Genesis 3:1-5. The intelligence operation. Stage 1: create doubt. Yea, hath Elohim said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. Distorted Yahuwah's actual command. Implied Yahuwah was unreasonably restrictive. Used a question to plant doubt without direct accusation. Stage 2: direct contradiction. Ye shall not surely die. Flatly contradicted Yahuwah's warning. Presented after doubt was established. Stage 3: false interpretation. For Elohim doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as Elohim, knowing good and evil. Reinterpreted Yahuwah's motivation as selfish. Presented disobedience as enlightenment. Mixed truth eyes would be opened. With deception, the outcome would be good. Lesson for Yashar'el. The adversary's primary tactic is not obvious lies but subtle reinterpretation of Yahuwah's clear commands. He questions, distorts, and reframes truth to make disobedience appear wise. Additional biblical examples. Delilah's intelligence gathering, Judges 16:4-20. Used emotional manipulation and persistent questioning. Framed her betrayal as concern and love. Gradually wore down Samson's resistance through subtle pressure. Interpreted his evasions as lack of trust rather than wisdom. Absalom's subtle rebellion, 2 Samuel 15:1-6. Positioned himself as more just and accessible than King David. Didn't directly accuse David, but implied inadequate leadership. Stole the hearts of Israel through subtle suggestion and positioning. Created perception of injustice without presenting actual evidence. The Gibeonites' deception, Joshua 9:3-15. Presented true evidence, worn-out provisions, with false interpretation, long journey. Used appearance and staging to support their narrative. Exploited Israel's assumption and desire to avoid conflict. Created a false context that led to a binding covenant. Counter strategy for Yashar'el. Spiritual and practical defense. Spiritual warfare response. 1. Pray for the wisdom to discern truth from cleverly packaged lies. Proverbs 2:6-7. For Yahuwah giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. Prayer strategy. Daily petition for discernment and wisdom. Ask Yahuwah to reveal hidden agendas and false interpretations. Pray for protection from deception, both obvious and subtle. Request the gift of distinguishing between spirits, 1 Corinthians 12:10. James 1:5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Elohim, that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. Practical application. Before making judgments based on reports, pray for wisdom. When hearing accusations against brothers, ask Yahuwah for discernment. Seek spiritual confirmation before acting on intelligence or reports. 2. Ask Yahuwah to confuse the subtle interpretations of the wicked. Psalm 33:10. Yahuwah bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. Prayer strategy. Declare that the schemes of the adversary will fail. Ask Yahuwah to expose hidden conspiracies and false narratives. Pray for confusion among those who plot against the righteous. Request divine intervention to frustrate the plans of deceivers. Job 5:12-13. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. Psalm 35:4-6. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Let them be turned back and brought to confusion that devise my hurt. Let them be as chaff before the wind, and let the angel of Yahuwah chase them. Let their way be dark and slippery, and let the angel of Yahuwah persecute them. Practical application. Pray specifically against false accusations and twisted interpretations. Ask Yahuwah to cause the plans of infiltrators to backfire. Declare that lies will be exposed and truth will prevail. 3. Declare clarity and integrity over your life and testimony. Psalm 25:21. Let integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait on thee. Prayer strategy. Declare that your words and actions will be clear and unambiguous. Pray for protection from misinterpretation and false accusation. Ask Yahuwah to establish your reputation on truth, not rumor. Request that your integrity serve as a shield against subtle attacks. Psalm 26:1-3. Judge me, O Yahuwah, for I have walked in mine integrity. I have trusted also in Yahuwah, therefore I shall not slide. Examine me, O Yahuwah, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart. For thy loving kindness is before mine eyes, and I have walked in thy truth. Proverbs 10:9. He that walketh uprightly walketh surely, but he that perverteth his ways shall be known. Practical application. Live with such integrity that false accusations are obviously false. Maintain consistency between private and public behavior. Document your actions and communications when necessary. Build a reputation for truthfulness that makes lies about you less credible. 4. Bind the spirit of subtlety and deception. Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Prayer strategy. Recognize that subtle deception is a spiritual attack, not just human cleverness. Bind the spirits of confusion, manipulation, and false interpretation. Declare the blood of Yahshua over your mind, words, and reputation. Command demonic influences to be removed from those who would twist truth. 2 Corinthians 10:4-5. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Elohim to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of Elohim, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Messiah. Practical application. Engage in spiritual warfare before and during situations involving potential deception. Fast and pray when facing coordinated attacks or false accusations. Gather prayer warriors to stand with you in spiritual battle. Practical/strategic response. 1. Do not allow outsiders or strangers to interpret your actions. Strategy: clarify your intentions and actions directly with those involved. Don't allow third parties to become the official interpreters of your words. When misunderstandings arise, address them immediately and directly. Create your own clear record of events before others create their version. Proverbs 18:17. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searcheth him. Practical steps: if someone claims you said or did something, address it directly with witnesses present. Don't allow he said, she said situations to be resolved by a third party's interpretation. Insist on direct communication rather than filtered reports. Create written records of important conversations and decisions. 2. When accused, apply the biblical standard of evidence. Deuteronomy 19:15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity, or for any sin in any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established. Critical questions to ask: what is the source? Who is making this accusation? What is their relationship to me? What might motivate them? How many witnesses? Is this based on one person's interpretation or multiple independent observations? Who interpreted it? Did witnesses report directly, or was their information filtered through someone else? What is the exact accusation? Demand specific details, not vague concerns or general impressions. What is the context? What happened before and after the alleged incident? What is being omitted? What information is conspicuously absent from the accusation? Matthew 18:15-17. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee 1 or 2 more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as an heathen man and a publican. Practical steps: insist on the biblical process. Direct confrontation first, then witnesses, then community. Reject accusations that bypass this process. Demand to face your accusers directly. Require specific, verifiable claims, rather than interpretations or impressions. 3. Train your house and fellowship to verify, not just repeat reports. Proverbs 18:13. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. Training protocol. Teach your family and close fellowship to question reports, even from trusted sources. Establish a culture of verification before acceptance. Encourage direct communication rather than gossip chains. Model skepticism of second-hand information. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. Practical steps. When someone brings a report about another brother, ask, did you witness this yourself? If second-hand, who told you? What exactly did they say? What was the context? Encourage the reporter to verify with the person directly before spreading the information. Refuse to act on unverified reports, no matter how credible the source seems. Community standards. Establish clear protocols for how information is shared and verified. Create accountability for those who spread unverified reports. Protect members from being subject to action based on rumor or interpretation. Document the verification process for serious accusations. 4. Document all dealings. Keep a record of truth to fight against twisting. Proverbs 22:20-21. Have not I written to thee excellent things in counsels and knowledge, that I might make thee know the certainty of the words of truth, that thou mightest answer the words of truth to them that send unto thee. Documentation strategy. Keep written records of important conversations, decisions, and events. Save emails, text messages, and other communications. Take notes during meetings with dates, times, and attendees. Create contemporaneous records, written at the time events occur. Types of documentation: meeting notes, date, time, location, attendees, topics discussed, decisions made. Communication records: emails, texts, letters, both sent and received. Witness statements: written accounts from those present at important events. Timeline documentation: chronological record of events to prevent reordering or reinterpretation. Financial records: receipts, contracts, agreements to prevent false claims. Decision documentation: why decisions were made, what factors were considered. Practical steps: after important conversations, send a follow-up email summarizing what was discussed and agreed upon. Keep a journal of significant events and interactions. Store documentation securely but accessibly. Organize records so they can be quickly retrieved when needed. Back up digital records in multiple locations. Legal and spiritual considerations: documentation protects against false memory, both yours and others. Written records are harder to twist than verbal recollections. Contemporaneous notes carry more weight than later reconstructions. Documentation demonstrates integrity and transparency. 5. Establish clear communication protocols. Strategy: use clear, unambiguous language in important communications. Avoid sarcasm, irony, or statements that could be misinterpreted. When discussing sensitive topics, use witnesses or written communication. Clarify your meaning immediately if you sense misunderstanding. Practical steps: in written communication, be explicit about your meaning and intent. Use phrases like "to be clear" or "what I mean specifically is." Ask recipients to confirm their understanding. Does that make sense? Or can you summarize what I just said? Follow up verbal conversations with written summaries. 6. Build a reputation for integrity that makes lies less credible. Proverbs 22:1. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. Long-term strategy: live consistently with your stated values. Be known for truthfulness, even when it's costly. Maintain the same character in private and public. Build relationships based on trust and transparency. Practical steps: keep your word even in small matters. Admit mistakes quickly and make them right. Be consistent in your behavior across different contexts. Treat all people with respect and fairness. Demonstrate wisdom and self-control in your speech. The power of established character: when accusations arise, those who know you will doubt the accusations rather than doubt you. A pattern of integrity makes sudden revelations of wrongdoing less believable. Consistent character creates cognitive dissonance when false accusations are made. 7. Develop a network of trusted witnesses. Strategy: cultivate relationships with people of integrity who can vouch for your character. Include these trusted individuals in important decisions and conversations. Build a community that knows you well enough to recognize false accusations. Practical steps: don't isolate yourself. Maintain strong relationships within your fellowship. Include trusted brothers in significant meetings or decisions. Be transparent about your activities and intentions with your inner circle. Develop mutual accountability relationships. 8. Respond to false accusations strategically. Strategy: don't respond emotionally or defensively to false accusations. Gather facts and evidence before responding. Respond publicly to public accusations, privately to private ones. Use the accusation as an opportunity to demonstrate truth. Proverbs 15:1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Proverbs 26:4-5. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like unto him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. Practical steps. Take time to formulate a thoughtful response, rather than reacting immediately. Present evidence calmly and systematically. Address the specific accusations without attacking the accusers. Invite investigation and verification of your claims. If appropriate, involve neutral third parties to examine the evidence. Summary, Strategy 17 Comprehensive Recap. The espionage tactic. SunTzu's principle. Intelligence work requires not just gathering information, but interpreting it with subtle ingenuity. The handler must be clever, skeptical, and able to discern truth from deception through careful analysis and cross-examination. Modern application. Surveillance systems analyze behavior, language, and patterns to interpret intent. Social media monitoring looks beyond content to context, timing, and relationships. Religious and community infiltrators shape narratives through selective interpretation. Even factual information is weaponized through clever framing and presentation. Specific threat to Yashar'el. Righteous brothers are accused based on twisted interpretations of their words and actions. Rumors become verified intelligence through coordinated repetition and authoritative presentation. Leaders act on incomplete or deliberately distorted information. Community trust is corrupted as members become suspicious of each other. The spiritual danger. Biblical foundation. The adversary operates through subtlety, not obvious lies. From the Garden of Eden to the present, the primary tactic is the clever distortion of truth, strategic omission of context, and artful reinterpretation of clear commands. Key scriptures. Genesis 3:1. The serpent was more subtle than any beast. 2 Corinthians 11:3. As the serpent beguiled Eve through subtlety. 2 Corinthians 11:13-15. False apostles transform themselves as ministers of righteousness. Mechanism of deception. Truth is presented with strategic omission that change meaning. Facts are arranged to imply false causation. Timing and framing alter how information is received. Questions plant doubt without making direct accusations. Simple obedience is portrayed as naive fundamentalism. Historical examples. The accusers of Susanna twisted circumstances to create false guilt. The Pharisees weaponized true facts with malicious intent. False witnesses at Yahshua's trial distorted his words. The serpent reinterpreted Yahuwah's command to make disobedience appear wise. The biblical counter-strategy. Spiritual warfare. Pray for wisdom to discern truth from cleverly packaged lies. Proverbs 2:6-7, James 1:5. Ask Yahuwah to confuse the subtle interpretations of the wicked. Psalm 33:10, Job 5:12-13. Declare clarity and integrity over your life and testimony. Psalm 25:21, Psalm 26:1-3. Bind the spirit of subtlety and deception. Ephesians 6:12, 2 Corinthians 10:4-5. Practical defense. Control the narrative. Don't allow outsiders to interpret your actions. Demand biblical standards of evidence, multiple witnesses, direct confrontation, specific accusations. Train your community in verification. Establish a culture that questions reports and verifies before accepting. Document everything. Keep written records to prevent twisting and reinterpretation. Communicate clearly. Use unambiguous language and confirm understanding. Build a reputation for integrity. Make false accusations less credible through consistent character. Develop trusted witnesses. Cultivate relationships with people who can vouch for your character. Respond strategically. Address accusations with evidence, not emotion. Quick reference table. Espionage tactic, spiritual danger, biblical counter. Even true reports are shaped through subtle interpretation and analysis by cunning minds' crafty distortion of truth. Subtle lies made to look factual through clever framing and selective context spiritual. 2 Corinthians 11:3, Genesis 3:1, Proverbs 2:6-7, Psalm 25:21, James 1:5. Practical, demand direct witnesses. Verify all reports, document interactions, control your narrative. Intelligence handlers use psychological analysis, pattern recognition, and contextual interpretation to shape raw data into actionable conclusions. The adversary transforms himself as an angel of light. His ministers appear as ministers of righteousness while corrupting perception spiritual. 2 Corinthians 11:13-15, Ephesians 6:12, Psalm 33:10. Practical, question authority, examine motivations, apply biblical standards of evidence. Modern surveillance analyzes not just what is said, but how, when, and to whom. Metadata often reveals more than content. Simple truth is made complex. Clear commands are reinterpreted. Obedience is portrayed as extremism spiritual. 2 Corinthians 10:4-5, 1 Corinthians 14:33. Practical, maintain simplicity, resist overinterpretation, insist on plain meaning of Scripture. Coordinated informants create the appearance of independent verification through rehearsed testimony. Multiple false witnesses coordinate their stories to appear credible, as in Yeshua's trial spiritual. Psalm 35:11, Psalm 27:12. Practical, separate witnesses, examine details, look for inconsistencies, demand contemporaneous evidence. Emotional framing and urgency bypass rational analysis and verification processes. Fear, urgency, and moral outrage are used to justify hasty judgment without proper investigation. Spiritual. Proverbs 18:13, Proverbs 19:2. Practical, resist pressure for immediate action, insist on proper process, take time to verify. The ultimate defense. Psalm 91:1-4, He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of Yahuwah, He is my refuge and my fortress, my Elohim, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. The ultimate protection against subtle deception is dwelling in the presence of Yahuwah. When we maintain intimate relationship with Him, His truth becomes our shield. The closer we walk with Him, the more clearly we can discern truth from cleverly packaged lies. John 8:32, And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 16:13, Howbeit when He, the Spirit of truth, is come, He will guide you into all truth. For He shall not speak of Himself, but whatsoever He shall hear, that shall He speak, and He will show you things to come. The Spirit of truth is our ultimate intelligence analyst, revealing what is hidden and exposing what is false. Trust in Yahuwah's guidance, maintain integrity, document truth, and refuse to be moved by clever interpretations that contradict His clear word. Final exhortation. Proverbs 3:5-6, Trust in Yahuwah with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths. When facing subtle deception and clever manipulation, remember that Yahuwah sees all things clearly. No interpretation, no matter how sophisticated, can hide truth from Him. Walk in integrity, speak truth, document your actions, and trust that He will vindicate the righteous and expose the wicked. Psalm 37:5-6, Commit thy way unto Yahuwah, trust also in Him, and He shall bring it to pass. And He shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Shalom and strength to the men of Yashar'el as you navigate these subtle attacks. Stand firm in truth, walk in wisdom, and trust in Yahuwah's ultimate justice.
The war we face is not always loud, but it is always real. You were not chosen to live blindfolded or bound. You were chosen to stand, to watch, and to move in wisdom. Stay anchored in the word, led by the Ruach, and never forget, Yahweh sees every scheme. He hears every whisper, and he defends those who fear him. We are not outnumbered, we are outwatched. And that's why we stand on the wall. Until next time, stay sober, stay set apart, and stay hidden in him.